every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
Core TV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to Core TV Primetime News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. In our major stories, federal government approves 40 billion naira infrastructure and education loan facility for Lagos State government. Also in this program, House of Reps Committee on Petroleum Resources brands oil sector officials thieves. Anambra State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal in Awka upholds Willie Obiano's election as governor. And outside Nigeria, Taliban releases dramatic footage of handover of Army Sergeant Bowe Bengal to United States after 5 years in captivity.
And in business news tonight, Nigeria's external reserves drops $1.178 billion at the end of May.
And in sport,
Rafael Nadal set up semi-final clash with Andy Murray in the French Open.
The details. The Federal Executive Council has approved a $242 million World Bank loan for the Lagos State government. The facility, according to the Minister of Information, Minister Labaran Mako, is in support of the state's development policy. He told journalists at the end of Wednesday's council meeting that the fund farms are part of a total loan package of $600 million aimed at improving public finance, sustenance of rapid growth, and increase access to quality secondary education in Lagos.
Is the warrantor, and we indeed, as a federal government, have continuously supported Lagos by providing the warranty for the loan, by ensuring negotiations with the World Bank and agencies to ensure that the loan is granted to Lagos State to support its own development. And in this instance, the federal government continues to support Lagos because of its importance in the economy, and also because the president has a policy of ensuring that every state is supported to develop the economy of Nigeria.
Lagos State government had in 2010 secured World Bank approval for $600 million for infrastructure.
Critically, and we supported it, and we do hope that Lagos State government, in getting this loan, which is guaranteed by the federal government, will implement it and give the people of Lagos a lease of life, and also do everything possible to ensure that the loan is successfully implemented and the services are rendered.
The federal government noted that steps would be taken to ensure that the facility is not diverted to other uses. The House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Resources blasted all sector officials during an interactive enlightenment workshop on petroleum industry bill in Abuja. The House Committee Chairman Dakoko Peterside, who was visibly angry with the magnitude of corruption in Nigeria's oil and gas sector, states that 0.005% of Nigerians enrich themselves with the nation's oil money at the detriment of the larger masses. The workshop was organized by Unite Consult Limited to highlight the gains of the PIB if passed by the National Assembly. While trying to explain why the PIB had not been passed, Peter Side says many Nigerians were of the view that once the bill scales through, all the problems in the oil and gas sector would be solved. He charged the organized labor to hold the government accountable for the ills in the oil sector, stressing that the industry remains the major economic backbone of Nigeria. The Senate has paved way for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to deregister political parties which failed to win at least a seat in the State House of Assembly. Senators voted unanimously to include this clause in the Nigerian Constitution during a clause-by-clause consideration of proposed amendment. The Senate also voted to include the current Senate President and Speaker of the House of Representatives, as well as former occupants of the 2 seats in the National Council of States at the end of the session. Senate spokesman Eyinaya Abarabe briefed journalists on the process.
And they felt that they needed to give them 21 days, which is what was also passed today. Also, with respect to elections and with respect to electoral offences, what was passed also, the other clause, was that all matters relating to electoral offences will now have to be taken only by federal high courts. And of course, the question of membership of the National Council of State. As of today, in all the arms of government, former National Council of State, so that's why former presidents are there, former chief justice of the Federation. But for the legislative arm, which is an arm of government, the former heads of these institutions are also not there. So the amendment that was passed today was to the effect that former speakers and former presidents of the Senate are now members of the National Council of State. So they have.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says voter education is critical in ensuring the success of the 2015 general elections. Speaking at the opening of a 2-day retreat of the National Interagency Advisory Committee on Voter Education and Publicity, Jega says there is still an intolerably high percentage of corruption, vote buying, snatching of the electoral materials, intimidation and threat, among others. He urged the meeting not to shy away from acknowledging existing shortcomings, but rather confront them to meet the aspiration of the people. A former Director General National Broadcasting Commission, Tom Adaba, called on INEC and media organs in the country to make voter education a continuous process rather than the current periodic exercise. He says there's a need for collaboration between INEC and the media to make debates among the various political parties a regular and possibly mandatory one from presidency to the local governments. The Anambra State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal in Awka has upheld Governor Willie Obiano's election and dismissed 4 petitions filed against him by other candidates. The tribunal chairman, Justice Ishak Bello, held that the petitions of Chike Obidigbo, belonging to a faction of APGA, Chris Ngige of APC, Tony Owoye of PDP, and the PDP lacked merit. Bello, in 4 separate judgments, held that Obiano's election complied substantially with the Electoral Act 2010 and the 1999 Constitution. The judge further discountenanced the allegation of multiple registrations against Obiano for lack of evidence by the petitioner. On Ngige's petition, he held that the petitioner's witnesses failed to produce the voters' register to explain or demonstrate how they were disenfranchised in the election. The judge said only INEC could prove the falsification of its document, adding that the petitioner's failure to call INEC to give evidence was fatal to the case. Back in Lagos, where the Governor Babatunde Fashola has advised Nigerians to vote leaders that will make life more meaningful for the masses. Fashola gave the advice at the 4th draws of the Lagos Homes Ownership Mortgage Scheme, where 92 home owners emerged. He says Nigerians should prepare to elect leaders that will sustain the ongoing development in the country.
I believe that democracy has meaning I hope that some of the people who benefited today voted. If they did not vote, I hope that they will be inspired to vote at the next elections. I hope that they will be able to see the difference between a committed government and a government that does not care. And I hope that on election day, they will not be too tired to go and cast their votes. Especially for those of them who did not vote, they may never have witnessed this day if some people did not vote for me.
In Ekiti State, the flag bearer of the Labour Party in the June 24th governorship election, Opeyemi Bamidele, has unveiled the manifesto of his party in Ado-Ekiti. The manifesto is tagged Healing the Broken Heart. Rashid was there and filed in this report.
Labour Party stalwarts at the unveiling of the manifesto says it's a breakaway from the norm in Ekiti politics, hence signaling the beginning of a new era.
What we are doing today is to sign a contract with our people, a social contract. That is what will guide us in the 4 years administration.
By the grace of God, a new chapter is open in the life of a chapter of blessings, a chapter of progress, a chapter of all the good things of life that are entitlement that you have been denied.
The manifesto is tagged Healing the Broken Heart. It contains the governing plan of the Labour Party. The party says Opeyemi Bamidele will execute to the letter the content of the manifesto if elected. Strategists and research experts who were involved in the articulation of the blueprint say it's an overall developmental document that will take Ekiti to the next height if truly implemented.
That we are gathered here today for this public presentation of not just a candidate manifesto, but also one codified in one official document reveals in bold relief that the candidate in question cannot be categorized among those kind of accidental leaders. From the document he has presented before us, I make bold to say that Honorable MOB easily comes across as a leader who knows his onions.
The governorship candidate, Opeyemi Bamidele, promised Ekiti people that he will not deviate from the blueprint.
It's not a razzmatazz. This is a very serious business. We are bringing sobriety into governance. We are bringing experience into governance. We are going to treat governance as if it is science. And by the grace of God, this is the blueprint.
The step taken by the Labour Party and its candidate is expected to change the way political parties are going to handle the few days left for campaigns before the election. Rashid, Core TV News, Ado-Ekiti.
Reactions continue to trail former President Olusegun Obasanjo's eulogies of the acclaimed winner of the 1993 presidential elections, MKO Abiola, describing him as a great patriot, a position that is in contrast with his earlier comments that Abiola is not a messiah Nigeria needs. Obasanjo made the remark while speaking as eminent guest of honor at the 4th Founders Day celebration and 85th birthday anniversary of the founder patron of the Nobel House College, Olatunde Abudu, in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The former president acknowledged the contribution of the late business mogul to the development of Nigeria in all areas of human endeavor. An activist, Babatunde Ashafa, says Nigerian democracy would not have been made possible without June 12 sacrifices made by Abiola.
The history has it that Nigerian democracy is impossible. And the cardinal point that June 12 keep teaching Nigerians, reminding Nigerians about is that our, readiness to organize a free, fair, transparent, and credible elections. And that is what will keep us flying. That is what will keep us alive as a democratic nation. So June 12th, Nigerian democracy is incomplete without reference and without recognitions of June 12th.
According to Ashafa, it took former President Obasanjo so long to recognize Abiola's democratic sacrifices.
It will not be convenient, even if he has been enlightened and educated on the popular formula of, of governance, which is democracy, it will be very, very difficult to really, celebrate and appreciate people from the other side. I give it to him that he was honest to himself, and of course, he was defending the interests of the Nigerian soldier who occupies and controls the minority interests in the country. So it took him so long because that is where he came from. It took him so long because the principle of democracy, the love of democracy has not been their way all this while. And if you look at it from that 1999 to date, you can see that it's quite an age. Of course, if you put a child in a primary school, by today, if the child is not a master degree holder, I think by today you should be, ascending to become a PhD holder. So I think the spirit of democracy, whether we like it or not, whether by force or whether by convention, is now manifesting in the lives of the former president, President Olusegun Obasanjo, for him to see beyond his nose. He is not talking as a former military general now. He is not talking as a former military president. He is talking as a citizen, a democratic citizen of Nigerians.
Meanwhile, a human rights activist has charged Nigerians to uphold the principles of selflessness and courage in achieving true democracy struggled for by late Kudirat Abiola during the 18th anniversary of her death. President Campaign for Democracy and Women Arise, Joe Odumake, stressed the need for courage in combating a series of problems bedeviling the country. Omotayo Alo has details.
Rescue our cows now! Rescue our cows!
In honor of the late Kudirat Abiola, civil societies, students, family members and some Nigerians gathered at her residence in Ikeja for a remembrance 18 years after her death. Chairman, National Democratic Coalition, says Nigerians should go back to the road they abandoned and implement the lessons of the past so as to survive the current challenges facing the country. Joe Odumake says the death of Kudirat Abiola can only make an impact if politicians adopt a change of heart on their reasons for governance.
June 12 was about free choice. People came in after casting their votes. It reflected the wishes and aspirations of our people. And June 12 again was about commitment. We had that symbol, although unfortunately we lost the man and the mandate. So the lessons we can learn from June 12 is that our people came out in unison. They spoke with one voice. They were committed. They were resolute. They had a symbol that was not interested in affluence by saying farewell to poverty.
In the same vein, Femi Aborishade clamored that the blood of Kudirat cries for justice, while warning politicians to desist from corrupt practices, which he ascribed as the bane of problems plaguing Nigeria.
Kudirat Abiola, that we are remembering today, died because she wanted to actualize June 12. The essence of June 12 is farewell to poverty. You can only abolish poverty if the collective resources are used for the collective good. But today, our democracy is one in which the politicians govern for their own interests.
Children of the late Abiola present at the event, Abdul Abiola, Afsat Abiola, and Jamiu Abiola, advised politicians on how to make the country better for Nigerians.
If you have motivated teachers in the Northeast, even as Boko Haram is attacking the Northeast and attacking their schools, those teachers will be figuring out a way. Even if they have to use personal houses to teach the children, they'll figure it out. So we have to think in terms of productivity.
So I just hope for the general progress of the country, and hopefully this doesn't just end here. We're looking for the likes of General Babangida to come out and speak, the likes of General Abdul Salam to come out and speak. That's what we're looking at.
Well, Nigerians are strong people. Nigeria has a lot of problems, but Nigerians are very strong and they are trying to cope, even though it's getting more and more difficult for them because the whole world is going through a global financial crisis. But I think what my mother did was not in vain.
No doubt the death of Kudirat Abiola has been a source of sorrow to many, friends, family members, and even civil societies. But what they look up to 18 years after her death is that the principles which she died for should be upheld in Nigerian democracy. Omotayo Alo, Core TV News, Lagos.
President Goodluck Jonathan has forwarded the name of former Kano State Governor Ibrahim Shekarau to the Senate for confirmation as minister. Shekarau is one of the 3 people on a ministerial list read on the floor of the Senate by Senate President David Mark. The others are former Afenifere spokesman Prince Dayo Adeyeye, representing Ekiti State, Dr. Abdul Bulama, Yobe State, and Stephen Oru from Delta. The Senate has not fixed a date for the screening of the ministerial nominees yet. You're watching Core TV Primetime News live from Lagos. We'll take a short break now, and we'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality brand.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
I see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on Core TV News.
Core TV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back on Core TV Primetime News. For more information on our news and other programs, you can visit our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Core TV News. And you can also follow us on Twitter at Core TV News NG. Get to watch previews and current edition of our news and other programs on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Core TV, leave a space and news. Now moving on the news, the Nigeria Governors Forum. Just before that, the new governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has met behind closed doors with President Goodluck Jonathan at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The meeting, which lasted about an hour, was the first the president would be having with Emefiele since he formally took over the leadership of the Apex Bank on Tuesday. He was said to have used the opportunity of the meeting to brief Jonathan of his administration's plan for the bank, which is expected to be released at the press on Thursday. The president was also said to have advised the CBN governor on the need to maintain the bank's integrity in order to sustain economic growth in line with his administration's transformation agenda. The Nigeria Governors Forum, led by Governor Jonah Jang, has called on the new Central Bank of Nigeria, Governor Godwin Emefiele, to make his obligation to the nation as top priority. The forum advised Emefiele to stay faithful to the roles and functions of his job. The governors advised him to be conscious of those who might want to use their relationship with him for personal gains rather than for collective good. They stated that the Governors Forum looked forward to working with the new bank chief and expressed hope that his vision for the Apex Bank will encourage fiscal responsibility. The NGF urged Nigerians to support the new CBN governor in its new role to ensure monetary stability for the common good of the nation. Members of the Bring Back Our Girls movement have formally sought police protection to enable them continue with their daily sit-out protests. The group says in a statement that its lawyer, Femi Falano, is already in touch with Inspector General of Police Mohammed Abubakar on the matter. The protesters have resolved to meet in court on Thursday when the suit against the FCT Police Commissioner Joseph Umbu is slated for hearing. The Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Zainab Maina, led an interfaith national prayer to call for the release of the abducted schoolgirls from Chibok. And at the event, the minister called for an end to all forms of terrorism and violence, saying in such situations, women and children are the worst hit. Maina says the prayer session became necessary as a show of concern for the plight of the abducted girls, adding that nothing is impossible with prayers. She added that the present administration is resolute and committed to promoting education, saying it is a tool for national development. The minister welcomed the present administration's Safe School initiative, saying security and stability is necessary for any meaningful development. The place of a vibrant opposition in stabilizing a political system and bringing about national development is the focus of a lecture at the Nigerian Institute of Journalism. Oluwaseyi Adegoke has details in this report presented from our studios.
The role of opposition in sustaining and deepening Nigeria's democracy is the theme of the 2014 Student Week lecture of the Nigerian Institute of Journalism. The interim National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Lai Mohammed, says only a non-partisan approach can effectively fight terrorism.
We face perhaps the biggest threat to our survival as a nation since the Civil War. Nigeria has never been this fractious in peacetime, with our people being increasingly divided along ethnic and religious lines. Even as what started as a ragtag insurgency has morphed into a slow-motion warfare.
Mohammed says no responsible opposition will remain silent in the face of confusion in the country. He added that the fight against insurgents is a collective responsibility irrespective of party or religious affiliation.
That's why we have rejected all attempts to blackmail us into silence at a critical time like this, because it is part of patriotism to be a responsible opposition. It is part of patriotism to speak truth to power. It is part of patriotism to keep the government of the day on its toes. We will therefore continue to play this role in the interest of our country and our people in order to deepen and sustain our hard-earned democracy.
He, however, advised the federal government not to see Boko Haram as a conspiracy against it.
The last minute have been heard on the stampede that marked the recent recruitment exercise of the Nigerian Immigration Service. Now, this is because families of victims have concluded arrangements to take the federal government to court. Paz Samuel has details.
On March 15th this year, hundreds of thousands of Nigerians showed up at different designated centers for an aptitude test organized by the Nigerian Immigration Service. But during the process, about 20 job seekers died in stampedes while several others sustained injury. This led the Nigerian authorities to cancel the exercise and announce a compensation package for some of the victims. It doesn't, however, seem that much has been done since, and a number of those injured are headed for the courts.
Following the federal government's declaration of free medical treatment, priority was given to the victims who were taken to the National Hospital, Abuja, while those who were taken to other hospitals like the Asokoro General Hospital, the Gwagwalada Hospital, and some private hospitals were left to wallow in anguish and pain. In addition, the victims alleged that the officials of the National Hospital in Abuja and the Immigration Service informed them that based on the federal government's directive, only those who were taken to the National Hospital were entitled to the free medical treatment as directed by the federal government.
In Abuja, more than 60,000 candidates were invited for the test. Abdullahi Sadiq was one of those who narrowly escaped death.
On my going in, I saw a very big crowd trying to go in, and it was like moving. It was like moving. So the crowd was moving gradually. So I was trying to kind of go in because the back was already filled up. Going back and going front was like the same thing, because going back might be more risky than going forward. So I tried to go forward and get into the National Hospital. All right, before I realized I cannot move myself.
A coalition of civil society groups is taking up the crusade on behalf of the victims. The groups are also pushing for the removal of Interior Minister Abba Moro from office.
On our writing the Gwagwalada Teaching Hospital, in response to our letter, they told us that the federal government has not actually made any fund available for the treatment of this injured victim. So now you have a federal government promising automatic employment for 3 of the deceased family, even mainstreaming gender into the whole discourse, and also offering free treatment for affected, injured applicants. And the all cost for treatment for Dennis is 40,000 naira. Until date, he's not been able to undergo this surgery.
The survivors of the tragic stampede are hopeful that they would get justice from the court, especially after they say the authorities had ignored their cries for help.
Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi has mediated the crisis rocking the state's chapter of the National Union of Farmers. The governor on the occasion stressed the need for the farmers to be united in purpose, since Ekiti State economy is agro-allied based. Rashid was at the forum and filed in this report.
The state is renowned for her prowess in the agricultural sector of the Nigerian economy. The state prides itself on cash crops such as cacao, kola nut and cashew, which account for over 20% of Nigeria's non-oil revenue. No doubt, the present administration in Ekiti places high premium on agriculture with massive investments in the sector. Judia Ro-Shafe, Ekiti State Commissioner for Agriculture, explains the commitment of government to both small and large-scale farming in the state.
For farmers in Ekiti State to think where or to occupy where they belong to. And today marks another wonderful day where the right window for farmers in Ekiti State to key into the transition program of moving from peasant farming operation to commercial farming operation will be open.
The Ekiti State chairman of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria thanked the governor for his support for farmers, particularly for his intervention in settling the rift that nearly tore Ekiti State farmers apart.
In my inaugural speech after our election into office, I made it clear that the newly elected Urban Executive in Ekiti State shall leave no stone unturned in ensuring that farmers in Ekiti State speaks with one voice, so that we benefit from the various programs of the government at all levels in this country. I am pleased to announce today that farmers in Ekiti State are now united and has given birth to today's unique occasion.
Fayemi in his speech vowed to make agriculture in the state lucrative to the level of making it a source of employment for all and sundry.
I make bold to say that this administration is doing everything possible to give a major entry as the main employer of labor and leading source of our internally generated revenue.
As part of his promise and resolve to provide succor for farmers, facilities to make farming easy was distributed to farmers and farming agents at the occasion. The governor went further to distribute intervention loan powered by the Bank of Agriculture to farmers.
Already, we have about 16 hectares of maize. This 1 million naira will boost the projects, so that we thank the executive governor.
This will assist me a lot because formerly I have been working alone without any laborers. So with this now, I can employ as many as laborers.
Will it be said that the gesture was centered around the re-election bid of Kayode Fayemi? This is hard to say. However, Fayemi used the occasion to solicit the support of farmers for his re-election, and the beneficiaries of his kind gesture equally promised to vote for the APC. The reality of this promise will only be confirmed with the result of the June 21st governorship election. Rashid, Core TV News, Ado-Ekiti.
Up next in the bulletin is business news with Sabena Izoko after this break.
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
Core TV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Well, then, welcome to the world of business. I am Sabena Izuku. Latest data released by the APAS Bank shows that Nigerian foreign reserves closed red, shedding $1.178 billion at the end of May. The level declined from $38,138 billion at the end of April to $36.959 billion last month, its lowest in recent times. On a year-to-date basis, the